15 Shocking Reasons These American Movies Were Banned Overseas. Part 1.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
1. Natural-born killers. If you thought Iceland's concern about A Clockwork Orange was intense, they were just as concerned with natural-born killers. The 1994 Oliver Stone crime satire starring Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Tom Sizemore, and Robert Downey Jr. told the story of a couple who each endured harsh childhoods, only to grow up and go out on a killing spree together. The movie was said to be based on a real-life murderous couple, Charles Starkweather and his 14-year-old girlfriend Carol Fugate, who killed the teenager's mother, stepfather, and 2-year-old half-sister. Before the young couple's run was over, 8 other people they randomly encountered would be added to their list of victims. Because of the true story connections to the film, Iceland was concerned that there would be those who couldn't separate fiction from fact, and they would find themselves handling crude copycat crimes. To be safe, they banned natural-born killers altogether. 2. A Clockwork Orange. Turning banning controversies on their heads, A Clockwork Orange was banned. The 1971 film was a cinematic adaptation of the 1962 novel by Anthony Burgess about a dystopian Britain and a violent gang of youths. The movie was laced with nudity, violence, rape, torture, and sociopathic tendencies that made many viewers uncomfortable. Iceland banned the film for the reasons previously listed until the year 2000, when they decided to lift it. Kubrick stood by his film in the midst of criticism and contention about the movie's jarring visual elements until there were a string of crimes across Britain that mirrored those of A Clockwork Orange. Youths were acting out, as one boy beat a homeless man, and another dressed like one of the main characters and assaulted a fellow teenager. There were increases in rapes and murders. A judge on one of the cases went on record to attribute the rise in teenage crimes as being directly linked to A Clockwork Orange. Kubrick became so concerned with the rising epidemic that both he and Warner Bros. Decided to pull the movie from the United Kingdom. 3. The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games gave the girl power movement a brand new face with Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence, and the book series became a money-making powerhouse for Hollywood. The film depicts action, drama, and violence, and while these on their own aren't reasons to censor a film, Vietnam didn't want to jump on the bandwagon of a movie that encouraged children to fight each other to the death. Meanwhile, Thailand didn't have a problem with the film until they found that protesters were using the hand salute to rally the rebels. The political tone of the movie got too close to home, and they pulled the film. 4. Borat. Cultural learnings of America for make-benefit glorious nation of Kazakhstan. From the onset, it was predicted that the Borat film would offend someone, somewhere. The 2006 mockumentary is about Borat Sagdiyev, a journalist from Kazakhstan who visits America and travels throughout the country to meet the locals. Although the premise sounds harmless enough, the movie was banned in the entire Arab world, minus Lebanon. There were people who were featured in the film that weren't aware of the fake premise and thought that it was real, but after viewing it, they spoke out against the film. The country of Kazakhstan thought Borat's rendition of their national anthem was atrocious, so they wanted nothing to do with the movie. Now, Borat has found its place in the Arab world and has been allowed to air on local channels in the Middle East. 5. Brokeback Mountain. Jake Gyllenhaal and the late Heath Ledger starred in Brokeback Mountain, a film that chronicled the secret romance between two cowboys over a number of years. Having two A-list actors play lovers in a major motion picture isn't necessarily new, but there were those that didn't think this subject matter would be good for their citizens. Malaysia, once again, didn't find the themes of the film to be right for their country, which fits in with many of their other decisions to ban films that may cross the line for their conservative social structure. However, the film also found resistance in its own country, specifically in the state of Utah. The mostly Mormon state banned the film, and would not show it in local theaters. 6. Schindler's List. One of Steven Spielberg's most moving films of his career, Schindler's List, is the true story of German businessman Oskar Schindler, who saved the lives of over 1,000 Jewish refugees during the Holocaust. The black and white period drama has been celebrated as one of Spielberg's greatest productions, but many Arab and Islamic countries didn't agree. The film was kept from being shown in countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, and Lebanon, because many Muslim clerics were offended by the nudity, and what they called propaganda with the purpose of asking for sympathy. Lebanon authorities confiscated any advertisements or imports of the movie, while Malaysia asked for several scenes to be deleted, to which Spielberg refused. Meanwhile, the filmmaker told the New York Times that the opposition against the film was rooted in anti-Semitism, calling it certainly an attack on the Jews. 7. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The incestuous, murderous, and cannibalistic Sawyer family has kept many a traveler from stopping to ask strangers for help, and we can thank the creators of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for that one. The 1974 horror film has gone down in history as one of the most terrifying visuals to hit the big screen, and for good measure. The ending of the film was seen to be so terrorizing that in 1975 the British Board of Film Classification banned it in England. It wasn't until 1981 that the frightening flick was released on video without a BBFC certificate, but everyone eased up in 1999 when the film passed their regulations and the uncut version was shown in theaters. 8. The Exorcist. Anyone who has sat through The Exorcist in its entirety, without closing their eyes, has been haunted by the memories of the demon-possessed 12-year-old Regan McNeil, Linda Blair. When the film was released in 1973, moviegoers left theaters shaking, crying, and, not surprisingly, in need of therapy. However, it was the scare that audiences wanted, and the movie went on to win 2 Academy Awards. Our friends in England initially gave the film an X rating when it was first released, but frequently reconsidered the rating, most notably in 1979. The censorship board wanted to determine whether young actress Linda Blair was exploited in any way under the Protection of Children Act 1978, that made it illegal to distribute indecent images of children. The film was never banned in the way that the others were, but when it was slated to go to video, Warner didn't submit the film for classification because they feared they would be banned under the Video Recording Act of 1984. It wasn't until 1999 that the movie was submitted and passed with flying colors, albeit with an 18+ rating.